Hello, everyone. So, whole year's passed since I started taking much better care of myself and the whole weight loss journey. So, how is it 1 year later? Well, it's almost like a tale of halves. The reason this video is late is because I dreaded making this month's video because I haven't been doing a good job. And let's just look at some pictures or footage here. When I started a year ago, this is what I looked like. I had a much worse webcam. But that's what I looked like. I was 255 pounds. And I got to say, it was up until this was October 1st, 2022. And it was around May of 2023 when I really hit my peak. This was 7 months later. I improved so much. I got a better looking webcam, but I improved so much. This was like my peak. I got down to 195 pounds, so I lost 60 pounds in 7 months. And this video has some better side-by-side stuff. So when I started, I looked like that from the front. I was 255 pounds. It wasn't very pretty. Let's see, 1 minute 6 seconds. I had, and that's how I looked. I cut down so much. If you want to just go like back and forth between there and there, it was just a drastic improvement, and something to this day I'm extremely proud of. Like the fact I was able to get that good at all. But then something happened at around that point. I'm like, all right, we hit sort of the target that I wanted. It didn't take a year. It took half a year, let's say. Let me transition into the maintaining stage. Well, the maintaining stage for me was like, you can allow yourself, like, this is how it's going to be. You don't have to work as hard anymore. You can let your foot up off the gas, and you can allow yourself some of your favorite foods again. Not like it used to be, but just going forward. And that didn't work. It turned into a bad spiral. I had a very bad month of June, and then I had COVID at the end, which really knocked me out for a while. But then I kept promising, like, oh, I'll get back on track. I'll get back on track for like 3 months, and then it never happened. October 1st rolled around. I didn't take any pictures, but October 1st rolled around 1 year later. My scale said I was 240 pounds. So in just 5 months, I put back on 195 to 240. I put back on 45 pounds in about 5 months. And I can sit here and make excuses, you know. I'm glad like today I don't look like I did when I started. I don't look as good as I did 5 months ago, but I look so much better than I did. Even today, I look so much better than I did when I started this whole thing. And throughout the year, it taught me a lot about myself. I, you know, life lessons and stuff. That anything that you want, anything that you really want in life is not easy. You have to work. You have to work at it. You have to constantly work at it. I accepted the fact that I do have a little bit the mind of an addict with regards to food. Again, I have zero temptations towards anything else that some people might have, whether it's gambling or alcohol or drugs or anything. Mine's food. It's more than a vice. It's bad. There was a stretch, even just 2 weeks ago, where I was so hungry at night after a stream. I went and bought my shells and meat sauce and made it, but I was so hungry that my hand was shaking as I was eating it, and I was scarfing it down. I was so excited to eat it and stuff, and that was a big eye-opening moment. I knew I had to like break the bad cycle anyway, but that one, yeah, that was more scary than anything, especially because I was so good, and then it snowballed into, well, again, I'm at 240. Now, in a way, I don't really regret that happening because I like to view it as a lesson. A lesson. Again, when I got to 195 or just below 200, what I should have done is just made it a life thing. You know, you have to work this hard to constantly stay where you are. But instead, I was like, this is how it's going to be. I'm not going to, I don't even remember what I felt like when I was at my worst. And then all it takes is just a day or two to just go right back. Go right back. And even when it was like the bad months, June, July, August, September, I even remember saying in those update videos, like, I'm trying different things. I'm trying a new routine so I can make it more of a lifestyle long term. I tried, going live right after I woke up. Like, go live, wake up, shower, have breakfast, go live. I tried that for a few days. I didn't like it. I didn't like it. I tried something. I tried something else with a lunch break in the middle of stream. That was okay, but it just didn't feel like it was going to stick. So the last 4 days, I know it's not much, but the last 4 days, I've completely turned around everything. I fasted one day. As I'm making this, I fasted for another day. Because for me, what fasting does is it breaks a bad pattern. You need a lot of discipline to go a whole day without food. And I usually feel so energized the next day. I might make it a once a week thing. That I'm not sure about yet. But yeah, if there's one thing that does, it teaches you discipline. It just gets all of the bad energy out of your body, at least for me. Um, it's a way to lose weight quickly, but not consistently, But um, yeah, I've been back at the gym. I've been eating healthy. I'm going back to my thing of having dinner before I do a stream, and then just picking at some snacks when I finish. I even tried having dinner after a stream, but it's like I didn't feel like going through the process of making it. It was easier to just go out and order something. So what worked for a long time was having my dinner before I go live, so that way I'm full and satisfied. A healthy dinner for the duration of a 5 or 6 hour stream. And if I want a snack somewhere in the middle, I can just go and get one. But yeah, it's what I did before is what I'm going to do going forward with regards to my meals and the gym and stuff. I for the last few months, I tried doing the gym after a stream, and I didn't like it. I didn't like it. I have to do that. I have to do that before I do a stream. It's all still like learning things about myself. But the one thing I really did learn is if I am able to get back to that point where I was below 200, which I really think I'm going to do. Physically, I feel so much better now than I did even just 5 days ago. But again, it was bad. It was really bad. If or when I get back to that sub 200-pound weight where I was at, in my opinion, there really isn't like a cutting and then maintaining stage. Your body will let you know when it's time to maintain, but you need to keep doing the same thing over and over and over. When I put all this weight back on, I think I don't really know why it happened. I had one bad month and then it spiraled, or it was lackadaisical, or I got tired or something. I don't really know what it was. But yeah, this entire weight loss thing, diet and exercise, especially with someone as bad as me, if anything, 45 pounds in 5 months shows you just some things that I mentioned in the past, how that's more of my normal. How things were before is my normal. I'm not so sure dieting and exercising is ever going to feel like the normal. But guess what? I'm 30 now. It's something that has to be done. It doesn't matter if I want to give into cravings or something. It's not a game anymore. I was so bad before. I think I mentioned it in my first video. I could have had an early grave. Imagine if I was 260 or 265 pounds and I had COVID then. The could affects your breathing. I did feel that when it happened. I was in much better shape when it happened, thank God. But what if? You never know. You just never ever know. So For me, and this is the way I worded it, it needs to be treated like a second job. Streaming is my full-time thing. I don't have another job besides it. But if I want to get the results that I want and keep them, the whole dieting and exercise thing has to be treated like a second job where you can't just call out sick. Well, if you're sick, that's one thing, but you can't call out of work for no reason. You have to do this today with a reasonable workout with a reasonable workout schedule and diet as well. But the diet I pretty much have down with regards to what I want to eat in a day. And the exercise, I alternate certain parts of the body on certain days. I don't really need like advice for that or something. I have something that works well for me, and it did work. Again, the first 7 months, I just kind of got away from that, and I tried different things, and it's like now 1 year later, having gotten it and then lost it, and now right now wanting to get it again. And I know exactly what I need to do to get there. Before it was new, now I've experienced the positives, the negatives. I've seen what works, what doesn't work, and really just what I have to do. So, me being, well, I'm probably now a little under 240 pounds, but I should be around 200. Even my mom was like, I think like just above or below 200 is where you need to be. She thought I looked a little too light when I was 195, 193 or something. I don't know about that. Again, I feel like if I put in the work, my body will let me know like where you should be maintaining. And even then, for someone like me where it's so easy to just flip-flop into just a spiral, a downward spiral, it's something that constantly has to be worked on. And I don't have a say in the matter. It just has to be done because of how easily it can happen. Honestly, you can either go on a downward spiral or turn your entire life around in one day. When things are bad, all it takes is one day to turn it around. You either don't eat at all or you eat less and you go to the gym one day, you want to do it again the next day, and that's usually what happens. But if you're going well and then you decide to treat yourself one day, which I allow on Sundays still, but that can go into the next day and the next day. The grossest thing I did, and this was only 2 weeks ago, I found a pizzeria that I hadn't tried yet. And their pizza was just okay, but their appetizer stuff was very good. I ordered 4 orders of mozzarella sticks, 2 orders of buffalo wings, and 1 order of chicken fingers. And I ate the entire thing. First of all, I was able to. Second of all, it was freaking delicious. Now, does that sound disgusting? That's because it is. I also had a Diet Coke with it. It wasn't 2 weeks ago. It was towards the end of September, I think. I think I did that more than once, too. When you're at rock bottom, sometimes you just don't care. You just go with the flow. You know? Now, I'm in a position now, again, 4 or 5 days into just really paying attention to it, where it's like, don't necessarily have the cravings to do that anymore. And, well, it doesn't matter if you, like, have cravings for it or not. It's just, you can't do that anymore. It's not an option anymore. A part of me is very embarrassed that I let it get this bad after being so good, but I'm treating it as a learning opportunity, like I mentioned earlier, and just really taking it seriously this time. So again, I know I didn't have a picture of the scale, but a few days ago, I was a little over 240 pounds. So I'll make my next one in November. I will keep this going just for the accountability part. Like I said, I make this because I've seen a lot of messages saying like, oh, seeing you physically change from like what you were in the beginning to what you were when you were at your best, it's like that inspired me to go. And that wasn't necessarily what I thought was going to happen when I started this whole thing. But I got to say, I don't respond to every YouTube comment, but I do read them all. Okay? It's a lot to respond to each one. But just know, I do read each one. Even the ones that are like paragraphs long. I do read them all. That's the same for other videos too. So it is good. That's why I was dreading making this video. For the last 3 months, I was just like, oh, I'm gonna turn it around real soon, real soon. I kept trying stuff like I mentioned, but really, like the thing I did at the very beginning was what I should have been doing all along. The gym and dinner before stream, and then snacking afterwards. It's yeah. Um, I lost my train of thought. Oh, and there's a bug. Yeah, I felt I delayed putting this video out because I was pretty embarrassed about the update I was going to give, but I wanted to get on like a miniature get like a miniature good streak going, so I could end on some positive vibes here. So I feel good now. I know when November rolls around, we're gonna do this all over again. When each month I'm gonna be losing and losing weight because I'm on the good pattern now. And when you're in a pattern, you continue that pattern. And I don't want to. Yeah, no more bad news, no more excuses. You got to keep your foot on the gas and just keep pushing and pushing. It's a little demotivating when you don't see overnight results, but the results do happen over time, even if you're older, you know? So, yeah, I'll start with like the pictures and updates again, starting next month, which is little 2.5 weeks from now. Yeah. Again, the whole losing weight, then putting it back on, it always teaches me something about myself. And that is, I have sort of addict like tendencies. So things have to be paid attention to. And it always has to be worked on. Especially, again, 45 pounds in 5 months. That's disgusting when I say it out loud. Next month, for the first time in a while, I will be down. I don't know by how much, but I will definitely be down weight and getting back on track. And I can even I can see myself when I'm making this video. I know I look much better now than I did when I started. Not quite as good as 5 months ago, but just better. Yeah. All right. I'll see you guys on Twitch. A new Grounded remastered record is coming soon. I promise you that. All right.